Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. We ready to do this thing. How you guys doing first and foremost, man?
Yeah. You let us know where you are in the world. Let us know if you are on what continent and what state and what city. Shout us out in the chat so we know where you're at. But Book, how you doing? Book, you've been around the world and back again. How you feeling?
Coming off Easter weekend, man. Charmel did it up. She went in the kitchen, man, did work, Cornish hen, mac and cheese, veggies, whatnot. And, man, she was actually a little worried about the Cornish hen. She says it's got too much spice on it. I don't think I did it right. And me and my son, bro, we put some Cholula on it, and we went to town, bro. Put that stuff on
Cholula's the woo. Let me tell you.
Bro, I'm tell you, man. I just came to the conclusion that you can put that stuff on anything, and it just totally just turns it a notch up. So we put the Cholula on it, man, and me and Kendrick was like in hog heaven, man. We went through the Cornish hen. Charmel was happy. Easter dinner was happy. Everybody had a good time. But we moving on, man. I woke up this morning after a sleepless night, because my dog got sick last night. She had a episode, where she kind of like had a seizure. I got a husky, and of course, they say it's kind of like in their blood that they go through that kind of stuff. And it's so scary. And it happened like about 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30. It happened, and she had this episode once before where she had a seizure. And what's crazy is after she have it, it's like she's on a speedball. She's running around the house. She don't want to lay down. She want to go outside. She want to go in the closet. She want to jump in the bed. Everything. I'm like, what is going on here? So about 3 o'clock, I finally got to sleep, and then I woke up this morning, realized I had a radio tour for the A&E documentary coming out. A&E Booker T. Guys got to check it out. I had a 16 hits this morning that I had to hit. And then I had a Miami Herald interview after that for about 20 minutes. So I'm out of it right now, man. I feel like I've been on the moon and back throughout this last 24 hours. But I feel good, man. I feel good. What about yourself, man? How's it going?
Yo, Book, I'll be honest with you. I feel great. Because I just came, maybe an hour and a half ago, got the second vax. I got the second dose. I'm double dosed up with the Pfizer vaccine. So I'm feeling great. Pfizer.
Yeah, I got the Moderna. I get by.
I asked him if they could just go ahead and stick me with the Johnson & Johnson while I was there. You know what I'm saying? Let's make sure that I'm good. So I feel good about that, because the CDC says if you got both doses, you could travel anywhere in the world. You're good.
Yeah. I get my second dose tomorrow, actually, at 11 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to getting in there and getting it done, getting it over with, so I can get back to the world and get back to work. I just got a call from Abu Dhabi. So
love Abu Dhabi.
So it's time for me to get my passport all checked out, make sure it's got the stamp on it saying that I am approved, and I've had the vaccine and I can go anywhere in the world. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to the world opening back up and getting back to work as usual, as normal as it can be, man, because it seems like I've realized throughout life it's always been those small little incidents. I wouldn't call them small, but those incidents that have changed the way that we live totally. And I've noticed also, once we change the way we live, we never go back to the way it was. Never.
Not 100%. Right. I think you and I talked about this post 9/11. I was young, but I remember going to the airport where there wasn't even, the security was like someone would wand you down when you go through the metal detector, right? Not the body scanner. And then this point. So yeah, you're always going to give up something. I'm thinking, what do you think stays? Do you think masks stay to some degree? Like in airports, you have to have a mask. Do you think the masks stay in any way?
I think the mask is going to be lifted.
Okay, so we'll get away with that.
I just don't think Americans want to live their life that way. Of course, you go to places like Japan, China. It's something that I've been seeing well before, I experienced the pandemic. The first time I went to Japan in 1991, people had masks on. And I was wondering what the hell's going on here. You know what I mean? Not knowing that perhaps they had gone through that before already. And they're really, really cautious about it. Just like we had gone through it before, and we're not so cautious about it. You know what I mean? It's not the first time we've gone through a pandemic. Not the first time we had to live with masks on. But Americans, man, we want our steak. You know what I mean? We want our apple pie, and we want it, and we want it now. It's just one of those deals. So I don't think the mask is going to stick around. What's going to stick around is, I think, for some people, the cautiousness, the awareness, the
sanitizing, the
extra sanitizing. That's what I just want to say, washing your hands all the time and whatnot. Right. I think that kind of stuff is going to always be, like stuck in our head, for the people that have gone through it. Now for the people that just, the youngsters 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, they ain't gonna be thinking about that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna turn over again. Life is gonna, turn over again, and it may be another one, and we'll see how we deal with it. But it's just tricky, man. It's real tricky.
You talked about the documentary Booker T, the A&E biography of the WWE legends, 8-part series. You can actually see it, sneak peek tomorrow in a drive-up theater here in Houston, Texas. They're available right now. If you go to Houston Chronicles website, they have it on their homepage, and you can actually register through their website right now. But you said 16 hits this morning?
Yeah, 16? Man. 17 with the Harold.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You did 17 interviews in one day. Here's my question: How do you keep from going insane? Because I'm sure every interviewer asks some semblance of the same question, right?
Yeah.
Tell us how you got into wrestling. How does it feel to have a biography about you? My aunt loves you. All these things, right? Like, I'm sure that you're hearing them multiple times. How do you keep it fresh and not go nuts on a day like that?
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes, it's like you wrote the script, and it's up to me to play it. I'll go that route. If you want to give me the same questions, the last interviewer gave me, that's fine. You'll get the same interview. But if you want to be creative, if you want to, go outside the box and really try to get in depth with Booker T with something that someone else isn't talking about, then I think that's when you're doing your job. I think, a lot of times, they're just lazy and they take the easy route out, unlike, like with you and I, we get someone on, we know they're a wrestler, we know they're a boxer, we know they're an entertainer, but what is it that, molded you? What how were you created? You know what I mean? Talk to me about, your greatest struggle, that you've had to go through. You know what I mean? What was it like, as good looking as you are, Brad, what was it like, the first time your girlfriend quit you? You know what I mean? I'm serious. That kind of stuff right there, because that's what people, I think, want to talk about. But I talked about a lot of the same, but sometimes I would change it up myself, and try to go a different route and just try to give them a little bit of something different, just because I don't feel like repeating myself. So and I'll tell a story, about something, that I hadn't talked about on one of the other, networks. So it's something that I've learned to do over a period of time, but it's no problem, just day at the office.
Well, I can't remember who the famous comedian is. It may have been Richard Pryor. I can't remember who it was, but someone said when they had interviews like that, that's when they just started making stuff up. That's why there are all these rumors out there on the internet about them. There's a thing that, like, Andre 3000 is a violin player, and people are like, "Where does that come from?" It's like he probably lied in some interview just to entertain himself, right?
Hey, man, I'm serious.
But what you said, though, remember when we had Alexa Bliss on? Alexa Bliss told this whole story about when she was bullied as a kid that I had never heard before. I'd never heard that story in a million years, and it was promoting her podcast. It wasn't like we were asking, "So tell us about the podcast." It was, tell us about Alexa Bliss, and she told this story that I don't think I'd never heard it anywhere before. So I think that kind of goes to your point.
Yeah, and your fans, it's just like the documentary. You're talking about the documentary, Booker T, A&E guys. You can check it out tomorrow in select theaters here in the city. For me, having someone like Alexa on the show and knowing that I can get that out of her as far as the wrestling thing is one thing. For me, I want the story that like Booker T. How was it? The first day, when you walked out of prison, after being in prison for 2 years, not in a house, but in a prison cell. What was it like that first night when they let you out? And that right there for me is a story to tell for the the fan that really perhaps may be in that situation. And that's what the documentary for me is about. It's about touching you. It's about trying to make you feel something. It's about, making you think before you make that decision. I think that's what the documentary for me is really, really all about. So, but guys, you got to check it out. Stick around. We got to, man, this first segment went by so fast. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Almost at 20 years doing this. It's crazy. We've seen so much. We started just to, give young people a place to actually be able to get their foot in the business, the beginning, the right way. I always say, give them a springboard. The rest is going to be up to them. The ones that's got the talent, we're going to push them to the next level. But we never thought about, the promotion side until it actually happened. Give Kevin Bernhardt, so much credit because Kevin been here, since day one, just like Abel been here since day one, and Kevin, he realized how we started, when putting the video together, and it looked so bad. It was just the worst thing you ever want to see. But I'm serious. No, but we had to start somewhere, and we just kept going. Kevin just kept getting better and better and better. And I look at just the packages, and everything that we've done here tonight. 16 years later, we have grown. Reality of wrestling has definitely grown. But I must say, it's going to get bigger. We said 2020 was going to be our year. Of course, the pandemic hit. But we still continue to build. 2021 is going to be that year for us. But we cannot forget about 2020 and the reality of wrestling. Male Star of the Year. And the nominees are... Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. The documentary, guys, you definitely got to check it out. It's something that's going to make you feel a certain way, make you think about decisions that you may have to, make one day in your life. You might be walking through them, the walking in those footsteps right now, and have a decision that you have to make, and that's what life is. It's really all about decisions. And that's one thing I really didn't think about. Until I had to start making them. I'm serious. I really didn't think about decisions, until I had to really start making them. When you're a kid, you think everything is, supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be able to get up and, go and hang out with your friends and, have nothing to worry about, and no taxes or anything and whatnot, no roof over the head. That's there for you. You're supposed to feel like that as a kid, coming up, but then you grow up, or something happened. You fall into a situation and you have to, figure it out, like I did. I always talk about, my situation, as far as it's like being a gambler, and you get dealt a bad hand. You get dealt the worst hand out of everybody at the table, and you put the biggest bet up, you know, because you say, "Man, I'm gonna bluff my way through this thing. I'm gonna make somebody, hand, maybe, over here may be good, but they may think my hand is better, and they're gonna fold, and we just gonna go on and to the next." So my thing has always been think on that level right there, man. Always think big. And life can be what you make it. Seriously.
Decisions. It's always what we come down to, and and I think the cool thing about your story, not just this documentary, but even the one that was on the network prior, the From Prison to Promise, your book, Sense to Greatness was the one on the network. It's really and I've told people this before, it's really the ultimate American dream, which you've kind of lived, right? In a way, right? I mean, in this sense, and I'm talking about the day that you stepped out. You said they asked you, what was it like the day you got out, right? From that day on, you've lived the American dream.
Yeah,
in so many ways, because I mean, you had to work your way to where you are today, and that's all it was. It was hard work. I think you've said it before. It's not like you were the biggest guy in the locker room, the fastest guy. You might have been top 5 in the world, but not the most athletic guy or anything like that. But you worked harder than them all. That's the reason you're sitting here.
I worked
harder than everybody.
I worked hard, but I think I worked hard because of my life prior. You
knew what hard work was.
Well, I never was the kid that the teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was never asked that once in my life. What I want to be when I grow up. I don't never remember being asked that ever. And then to find myself not having direction, like not having a dad, is it's a hole in your life. It's something missing there. And I didn't have a dad, but I had that photo. I always tell people about, and that made me feel a certain way because that photo gave me strength. It was a strong photo of my dad. And I knew that my dad, he didn't walk out on the family. He passed away. I could take that. I could understand that. Man, I got dealt a bad hand right there. My mother, ended up having to have back surgery, and boom, that's the last time I talked to my mother. Man, I got really a bad hand right there. Really, really a bad hand, and then one would say, well, you're the youngest of 8. You got big brothers and sisters. They can take care of you. But you got to realize also that there were kids as well because they lost their mother. No matter how old you are, you still a kid to your mom. You know what I mean? So we all got dealt a bad hand. And that's when people start, questioning life and questioning God and wondering, what am I going to do? Man, this is what I'm supposed to be. You can start thinking that way. You get locked up. You get out and you go back and do the same thing. You get locked up again. You feel like that's what your life is supposed to be. This is as far as I'm supposed to go in life. And my story, I think, is, literally, it's not unique or anything like that. But I went through all of that struggle, went through all of that, got locked up. But when I came out, someone helped me. I took that help and I ran with it. I tried to rebuild myself, through someone else's eyes because I needed someone to trust me more than anything. I needed someone to give me that stamp of approval. It's almost like a lot of my students, when they come in the door, sometimes they just need a pat on the back. Sometimes they just need to be told, man, you did a great job, and take them to the next level, and I think for me, that was the thought process, from day one.
Wow. That was like an impromptu motivational speech. If you don't want to run through a brick wall after hearing that story, you're not a human being. And then that's why I'm looking forward to the documentary. I've read your books. I've seen the other specials. I followed your career my entire life, and then for the past 9 years, I've worked beside you. But I'm excited to see it, from beginning to end, the story be told in a long form and really absorb the life lessons of one Booker T. Huffman. But if you pay attention to the internet, was it Robert T.O. the second? Whatever they call you on the internet.
Robert
I'm
T.O.
excited to hear. I want to hear that story. That's the story I want to hear. I want to hear about Robert T.O.
I don't know how this happened, man. I'm serious. I don't know how the Robert T.O. thing started. Somebody put it on the internet from, the beginning, and, it stuck. It became part of the Wikipedia at one point. I'm getting someone to fix it right now. It should be fixed here in the next week or so, but it just came out of nowhere, and a lot of people call me and they act like they know me. Hey, Robert, how you doing? I'm like, you got the wrong number. Click, So, but it's funny, when people like that, they really think they know me and they call me, hey, Robert, you know what I mean? I got something for you, booking, I want you to go. And so I know this person don't know me, you know what I mean? So don't call me ever again. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's the guy who knew you from Artie's pool hall, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Hey, we had a super chat. I don't want it to disappear. And again, you can go check out
super chats, man.
You can go check out the documentary Booker T in select cities. I think 8 cities nationwide tomorrow. This is from Ron Bartkowiak. I know I messed that last name up. Do you guys think that the Randy Orton Alexa Bliss angle is kind of embarrassing to a guy that's supposed to be the legend killer? Sad to me. Oh, those are harsh words from Ron. I will say it hasn't been it hasn't been the most engaging for me. But again, I don't know if it's supposed to be engaging to an adult. It seems to be a little bit more mystical for like a young teen to kind of bite into. What do you think, Bob?
It definitely seems to, what I look at and people can say what they want to say, but the way I'm trying to look at the Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton angle is, okay, they're trying something. Okay, they're trying to, find something that's going to appeal to somebody that may like that. For me, wrestling has always been old school. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, Killer Tim Brooks, guys that just went out there, and fought and mix it up, fisticuffs. We do the promo thing. We have the lead up and whatnot, and boom, we get the payoff at the pay-per-view, the big show. It's always been very, very simple to me as an adult watching professional wrestling. And that's the way I've always tried to, even, book reality of wrestling. I'm thinking about the adults that bring their kids to watch it. Okay, just say, for instance, they bring their kids to watch it the first time, and then they watch it, and Will Allday comes out, and he gives that mother something really that she really wants to look at. You know what I mean? And, oops, like, man, maybe we got to come win at the next show. So I'm going to make sure I give that mother what she wants. I'm going to make sure I give that father what he wants as well, because I need him to be invested into the show. And the kids, for me, it's always been a somewhat PG-13 thing. It's your discretion to whether you want to take your kids to watch a wrestling match. That's the way I try to cater, the show, from that perspective. That way it's all inclusive. It's not vulgar enough to where you don't want your kids to come and watch it, but it is a parental discretion move for me. You know what I mean? And if it's okay with the parent, boom, everything's fine. So it gets their approval because it's a story that they can really bite into. So I don't know, man. The Alexa Bliss, Randy Orton thing, I don't know if it's capturing that for you, for me, for Brad. I don't know. So to be continued. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. Welcome back, guys. Yeah. What you got any more input you want to put in on the Alexa Bliss?
On the Alexa Bliss thing, I get what you're saying, but but that's what I was saying. Like, I don't think that it's there for me because when I was a kid, this would probably be my favorite thing on the show, right?
Yeah,
when I was a kid, anything that Mankind did with Kane or Undertaker, any of those
tell me this. Would you rather see this angle, or with Alexa Bliss, or this angle with someone like Sable?
I mean, look, when Sable came out as a young man, I mean,
so talk to me about that there.
All due respect to Mrs. Hold on. All due respect to Mrs. Lesnar. I don't want any of that smoke.
Bro,
I'm just saying she was a beautiful woman.
We're talking about Sable, the character on the show. We're talking about nobody's wife. Okay. And I'm giving props here. When Sable came out as a young man, would you had rather, seen that or this?
Look, I'll just put it this way. At one point, Sable would come out to the ring to sell a beach ball and a T-shirt, and it got a 4 or 5 rating. And I'm not making that up either. So I think that might answer your question about the times that we were living in.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But no. Here's the thing. Alexa Bliss, I mean, and obviously the women wrestlers aren't as sexualized as they were in the 1990s. But Alexa Bliss is Sable to a lot of people who are my age when Sable was my Sable. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly my point. But I'm thinking about giving everybody what they want. Okay, I'm thinking about giving the fans, everything they need to tune in next week. And I'm not saying being overly, explicit or anything like that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying being able to keep the show from I like Trick love the kids. okay. But this is wrestling has always been an adult theme, business. Men fighting. When men are fighting, normally adults are going to be watching. And back in the day, they did. Of course, wrestling was different. And I know we're in a different era. I know we've, evolved. But to keep the eyes on the product, I don't think that part of the business changed. I think we got another super chat there, Brad. Take care of it, man.
We do. This is from SS9 Bajito Introtainment. That's a hell of a handle, my man. Booker, on a couple of matches in the past, I heard you drop the F-bomb and other curse words. Did you ever get fines for that? Would you use profanity when you were wrestling?
Yeah, all the time.
Did you get fined?
Not one time. Not one time. I was always as real as I possibly could. If I told somebody to back up, it was a expletive on the end of that. You know what I mean? And I would be serious about it. Something happened in the ring, and I roll out and bang, I bang myself up against the barrier there. I might go, boom, I might, say something just because it hurt. And from a real perspective, that's what I probably would say. So I always tried to keep it real all the time. Hopefully the cameras, wasn't too close to me where they would pick it up, or if they did pick it up, I'm sure if it wasn't live, they could edit it. But if it was live, it was just something that happened,
You know who's great nowadays, who talks trash while he's wrestling, and he does it great, is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, you can hear him through the camera microphones talking trash to his opponents, and you're right. It adds this layer of realism, because if you were really in a fight with somebody, you're going to be talking trash.
Yeah,
the whole time.
It's going to be real. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. A lot of guys want to talk trash, and they want to make it like a high spot. What
Right.
are you going to do right here? You know, that kind of stuff. Exactly. Opposed to like when Conor McGregor and Khabib fought, you know, and Khabib finally got him in a prone position to where, you know, we're up close and personal, real close to the body. And I could talk to you because now, talk all that trash now.
Yeah, he
You
said,
know,
let's talk now.
yeah,
Let's talk
yeah.
now.
Bang, 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 you know, big shots, you know. So that right there is, I try to talk to my guys and tell them, you know, the realism and that part of the business is so effective, you know, when you're out there having a match and you're trying to make the fans believe in the artistry that's going on. And it's a beautiful thing when you can go out there and get it right. Trust me.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it's adding layers of realism because, you know, we were talking earlier about your documentary, and I saw a clip earlier on one of your interviews that you did where Kevin Nash was talking about, man, you believe Booker as soon as he walked through the curtain. As soon as he walked out to the people, like you're like, oh, this guy's here and he means business, right? Um, who do you think on the roster today kind of has that vibe? Like as soon as they walk through the curtain, that layer of realism is around them. Who is somebody you look to if you just had to name one or two?
Carrying Cross.
Karrion Cross. Okay, why Karrion?
Because when you walk out the curtain, it looked like a man just walked out the curtain. He finna go and break something, you know, whether he can or not. You know, when the bell rang, that could be another story. But when he walk out the curtain, it looks like, okay, this is something, you know, that I can you know, bite into right here. And that's for me. Walking out the curtain, it was being the drum major, being the leader of the band, like everybody, you know, move to my beat. You know, everybody got to be on tempo. All right, guys, got to keep it up, keep up. That's the way I was as a drum major. Everybody had to be on time. And for me, walking out of the curtain, you know, doing my, you know, my bend and looking at the hand, and then the, you know, one-legged jump was all for the fans to be on cue at one time. That was my, you know, maestro work right there. And a lot of guys don't think about that. A lot of guys don't understand that. A lot of guys don't feel it. People always say, man, Book, what was the thing about jumping up on one leg? I don't know. It just felt cool. You know, it felt like, you know, something that was, you know, legendary, and people was going to say, man, that's a hell of an intro. And then, you know, WCW, they put the rocket on me and put the flames behind me. But when I got the WWE, man, it was like an explosion would go off. And it was like I would totally disappear for a second in the flames. That's how big it was, you know. So it was trademarking from the beginning. It was, you know, creating, you know, my aura from the beginning. And there again, when you first walk out the curtain, it may be the first time that those fans have ever seen you, and you got to make yourself, you know, known off the bat, bang, and then it could be the 1,000th time those fans have seen you, and you got to do the exact same thing, and that's, you know, it's just working. Some guys, when they come out of the curtain, I know when they're going to win and when they're going to lose, just because
their body language.
Just because of their posture and their body language. You know, they're not making me feel like, you know, this is something bigger than they've ever, you know, been a part of. It's very, very
Like
small.
anything can happen. Yeah, I mean, if I know what you mean. There's certain guys, and you can look at them, and it's even happened, you know, on all levels, right? I've seen it sometimes at a reality wrestling show where when they walk through the curtain, it's almost like their character already knows they're not going to be winning tonight. They already know.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the point of me walking out here? I already know I'm losing.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you have to portray it like anything can happen. This is a fight.
Well, I teach my students, your losses got to be better than your wins. You know, so when you come out of the curtain, if you're losing, you got to really be over the top. Like, man, I'm finna go out here and wreck shop. You know, do you see fighters fight? Normally boxers, they walk out the same way. They always, you know, feel in the moment. You know, when they don't walk out, you know, the same way, you could tell something's wrong here. You know what I mean? So
to go back to it, the night Conor fought Khabib.
exactly.
When he walked out, we were like, You and I looked at each other like something's weird about him.
Great point. You knew he was going to lose. He felt, you could feel the air, just not there. And you can feel the electricity not in the room as far as it wasn't a Conor McGregor moment, that night. And that's a perfect example. You could tell he knew something. And it's the same way with wrestling, so you never can tip your hand going back to gambling. You know what I mean? Going back to the, having the poker face. You can never tip your hand. You got to always go out and make it look like, man, tonight is going to be a spectacle. Like Dustin would say, it's going to be pandemonium. Who was that? Superstar Billy Graham, maybe. One of them. But that's what it was.
Some white guy with a lisp.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh my goodness, here he comes. The precision tactician, the chosen one, Rex Andrews. And we have to remind everyone how Rex Andrews got here. He won the last man stand match, defeating all of those other competitors, and had an opportunity to choose any championship that he wanted.
When I was in Japan, I knew whose championship I was coming to take. Behind door number 1, we got the television championship. The championship that I held for a year and a half. Brought it up to prestige. Maybe I want one more run with it. But behind door number 2, the Texas championship. The title that was made for me, the inaugural champion, traveled the country defending that championship. And then behind door number 3, the one title I haven't held.
Rex, I respect you. I respect everywhere you went, every title you won. You come out here and tell me that you're what a champion looks like, that you're what a champion talks like. As long as I'm holding this title, this is what a champion looks like. This is what el campeón looks like. Marcellus Black versus Gino. Evan Snow versus Gino. Eddie Cristiano versus Gino. One thing in common that. And now we got Rex Andrews versus Gino.
This is not probably one of the biggest matches in reality wrestling history. This is the biggest match that this company has ever promoted. The only reason you still have that championship, the only reason is because you took the easy way out. Last match we had, you knew you were beat, and you hit me with that low blow. Gino doesn't have the grit. Gino doesn't have the determination. Gino does not have the ability to stop me.
Welcome back, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame right now. Yeah. I tell you guys, reality of wrestling, we're getting ready to kick back off here really, really soon. Anybody in the Houston surrounding area, come be a part of the row. It's going to be the reboot. I cannot wait as far as getting fans back inside the Royal Arena and really doing it even bigger than we did in 2019. 2020 was a rough year. It definitely was. Yeah. But all of you guys are near 460,000 subscribers. You guys kept us in the game this year, and we appreciate it. But I tell you, reality wrestling is going to be something special here in the next couple of months, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's going to.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Every time we see like that when we did the Road Awards, and then every time I see one of these packages during our commercials, it always gets me hyped to be back in the arena, hear the roar, the crowd, the people. The people, man, it adds a whole different level. That's why I'm sure people are excited for WrestleMania this weekend. WrestleMania is this weekend. That's crazy. It's coming up. Real quick, two things, though, on WrestleMania weekend. I guess the first one would be this. There was a little video clip that dropped on WWE Social over the weekend that set the internet ablaze, and just kind of wanted to get your reaction to it. The quote-unquote forbidden door is now open. And Chris Jericho, the AEW star, the first inaugural AEW champion, is going to be a guest on the Broken Skull Sessions on the WWE Network. Get this, immediately following Night 2 of WrestleMania. Now, of course, us wrestling fans aren't used to these kind of exchanges happening between companies, even if it's for an interview. You never would have seen this in the WCW, WWF days. I don't think TNA ever gave anybody over. I think maybe they sent Ric Flair over and we sent them Christian, or WWE sent them Christian for one time.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, what did you think when you saw this? Is this a big moment, or is it being made out to be bigger than it is?
No, I don't think this is a moment like people think it is, as far as, all of a sudden, I think now we're going to have a whole lot more cross promotion with AEW and WWE. No, I don't think this what that is at all. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin, and just by the way he rolled, and to have a controversial guest on the show like Y2J, I think it's just good for business. Even to know exactly, what the other side is doing. Just to get a feel of, how did this come about? I know a lot of people want to know that, and who better to get it from than, the horse's mouth? Someone, like Chris Jericho, who's going to tell it, going to straight shoot with it, just going to say, hey man, this is what it was. And me personally, I don't think there should be any ill will towards that. Me as a promoter, you know how they say keep your friends close, keep your enemies close. You know what I mean? So right. Yeah. So for me, I think it's cool. A lot of people want to know about what's going on with AEW right now, as far as, just the structure of it. The storylines, how do they come about? A lot of the angles that they create. A lot of people want to know that kind of stuff. And if Chris Jericho can, answer those questions, me personally, I think it's good. I think it's good. I couldn't look at it any other way. I think it's good.
Yeah, I was really excited about it. And like you said, just to hear somebody who's he's not under any WWE contract. Obviously, he's an AEW star. And to come over to the WWE atmosphere again and have that interaction with Steve Austin, I think that it can only be these two, right? I mean, it can only be these two, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. And here's the other thing I'm hoping because what is Jericho when he won that undisputed title? What has he said almost every day since then? Who did he beat in the same night? He beat Rock and Austin in the same night, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm a big Chris Jericho guy. He never gives Booker T the credit that Booker T deserves, right? Because that night you helped him. If my memory serves me right, you helped him to one of those victories.
Yeah.
To the undisputed title.
That's the way it is. Everybody. When you're in that position, you ain't gonna give nobody else the credit. You ain't gonna give nobody else the glory. You're gonna take it, man. But it's all good. Chris Jericho.
No, I'm just joking.
All right.
I'm excited. And here's the thing. As soon as WrestleMania is over, this is going to be the next thing on the network. Think about how many people are going to watch this interview. Yeah. I mean, you already have people interested. And here's the other thing. If you're an AEW fan and you said, I'm not going to get the network on Peacock, I don't want to get it. Well, now you're like, well, I might as well watch WrestleMania so I could watch Chris Jericho on the Stone Cold podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. To me, it benefits all sides.
And the thing is,
nobody loses.
Everybody's going to be wondering what Chris Jericho is going to say.
Yes.
They're going to be wondering, man, what is he going to say? About, his past, dealings in WWE. Why did he leave? Was he bitter? Do we have any, heat with anybody? That's the thing right there. Getting heat. You know what I mean? People gonna wonder, man, who does Chris Jericho got heat with? That kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing play out. I don't know how it came about. I would imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin called Chris Jericho and say, "Hey man, I'd just like to be on my show." and just go, yeah, man, that's cool. When do you want me to do it? So I'm sure it was something as simple as that. I don't think any PR people had to make any phone calls or anything like that. And I'm sure it's going to be a straight shoot, a straightforward interview. And it's one of these, almost like Lance Armstrong. Can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait. You know what? You talked about getting heat, though. And you got heat. Do you know that? Booker T, his name got some heat on the internet. You know what I'm referring to?
No. What did I do?
You got heat with one of, I don't know, one of the big guys on television right now. You got heat. That? You know, last week on the show, we were talking about, you know, the Hurt Business, you know, what happened with them, and seemingly they're broken up. And you made a particular comment about one of the members of the Hurt Business, and I don't think that they took too kindly to it. And they voiced their opinion on social media. I'm about to share the tweet with you right now. Here's the tweet right here. This is from MVP. He says, "Thanks, Booker. You're on point, and I'm mentally faster." If you remember, you said MVP was like what, the $1 million man, or the $6 million man. We can rebuild him. He's bigger, faster, stronger, and you're like, well, maybe not faster. But he said he's mentally faster. Book. Now you and Envy got heat. I'm just saying, are you going to put hands on him when you see him? What's going to happen?
That's what I'm saying, man. You know, he shouldn't even be listening to this stuff. You know what I mean? He should be worried about the faction. He should be worried about his group. But he's listening to everything that's going on the internet. You know, and everything I said was true. Everything I said was true. You know, and he's not faster. Okay, he's lost a step, maybe one and a half. But that happens. You know, when you're trying to run a business, you can't go out and, you know. I understand that. Trust me. Reality, I understand that. So, bro, I ain't trying to throw no shade or anything like that. And I don't want anybody out there to try to make anything out of this. That's not. So, Brad, don't do that, man. Don't do. But it is a lot of rumblings right now all over the internet as far as the Hurt Business, as far as these guys breaking up. You know, from the consensus, man, nobody wants to see it. It's almost like Goldust and Booker T breaking up. Nobody wanted to see that. I understood Goldust and Booker T breaking up. I understood it.
Because y'all had a run.
Well, we had a run, as well as there was prepping me to do something else. And Goldie was never the type to, you know, we wasn't heels. You know, he wasn't making the save, you know, and I wouldn't do anything underhanded or anything like that.
Right.
But with this group, the Hurt Business, man, I've been looking at a lot of stuff on social media, and everybody, just from a consensus standpoint, seemed to be very disappointed that the Hurt Business is breaking up. Everybody thought it was a really good faction, thought it was going in a really, really good direction, and now all of a sudden, boom, it's over. You know, so I don't know, man. Hopefully, maybe they might rethink it. Maybe they might rethink it, bring the thing back, say, man, look here, let's go out to dinner. Let's squash this thing. Let's go get some chicken. And everybody's good. All right. Gourmet chicken, you know. Yeah.
You know, first the Fat Boys break up, and now this. You know what I mean? That, to quote Jay-Z, first the Fat Boys break up, now every day I wake up. Somebody's got a problem with HOF. Yeah, I still think it was premature, and we're going to see if they can salvage it. Because I saw the Raw promo tonight. It has all four of them on the promo, you know, standing next to each other in the suits. So I'm thankful. I just at the end of the show, you saw Baron Corbin come in to beat up, you know, Drew and align himself a little bit with Bobby.
Yeah.
And Envy. I wouldn't be a fan, and I like Baron. You and I both like Baron. I wouldn't be a fan if they kick out Cedric and Shelton and then reform the Hurt Business with Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, MVP. I don't want to see that.
That's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I don't want to see that.
Well, it's not going to work. You know, the fans have, it's very few, you know, few and far between the fans, you know, speak up and say, man, boom, I'm liking this. And then all of a sudden it's gone. I think sometimes, you know, you got to get the fans what they want. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityandwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
the Academy.
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I saw we had a super chat there, Brad. You want to take care of that?
Yeah, let me get to the super chat right now, and it is from Stellar Justin Lopez. What's up, Justin? It's been a week, and I'm still salty the Hurt Business broke up. Those guys should have been wrecking havoc till SummerSlam as champions.
Man.
I agree, my man. I'm still not a fan.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, he should be writing the show. You know what I mean? He should have a part of the booking or the committee or something. But yeah, man, I'm disappointed as well because I saw the Hurt Business not just as the faction, as a collective, but I saw Cedric Alexander being able to do a whole lot more, being a part of the group, being aligned. Guy is very, very talented. Sometimes you got to be able to, figure out how to, get the most out of, someone like a Cedric Alexander, a guy who has all the, in-ring, ability to go out and perform at a very, very high level, but may be lacking as far as his storytelling. He may do something out there, with this guy, and he do the same thing with that guy. You got to tell him, hey man, no, we got to pull it back here when we're working with this. So having a coach like MVP in his head from a realistic standpoint was definitely something good for Cedric Alexander. If Cedric couldn't come back after a match and go to MVP and say, hey man, what you think? And MVP give him, I ain't talking about some TV managerial expertise, but I'm talking about real time, real life, and say, hey man, now I tell you what, go out and try it like this, do this here, whatnot. I think it'll look a lot better. Man, that's somebody that's gonna, help this kid move up the ladder. He's gonna be better after the Hurt Business is all over with. If we keep the thing together, 6 months, 8 months, a year. Cedric's gonna be a much better talent for your roster if something like that is to go down. Now, someone like Shelton Benjamin, OG, a guy that's definitely an all-purpose. A guy that could do just about anything you want him to do. Okay, you need me to go out and really get over tonight. Boom, I can do that. If you need me to go out and make this guy look good. Okay, we can do. It's so many different things that Shelton is perfect for. He's just perfect for. And then you got Bobby, who is the ultimate specimen. The guy who definitely has kicked it into another gear. I always talk about gears and guys being able to have, 3-4 gears. And Bobby Lashley over this last year has definitely kicked it into another gear. And we are seeing a different Bobby Lashley than we've seen in quite some time. Even when he was in TNA, even when he was in WWE before, when he was with me, Bobby has definitely found himself. I sat and talked to him in the locker room. I was talking to Bobby maybe a couple of months ago, and I was like, Bobby, you remember, we were talking about the cage match, and I said, well, what did I say about my hair, Bobby? He said, all you got to do is grab just one lock. It's just going to serve the same purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, and for him to remember that, it let me know that. And let me know that the brother is learning, man, that he had a lot of times it takes a while in this business before a light bulb goes off and you see how easy it really is supposed to be. And now that light bulb has gone off with Bobby Lashley.
We had another super chat from Cool Hand Cruz said, the cool thing about the Hurt Business that it was an all-minority faction used right for once. So that's in Cool Hand Cruz's opinion. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, right? What were you about to say?
Here's the problem. Everybody's, I don't know. I thought it was done right.
It was done right. Everything about it worked.
I thought it was very, very simple. It wasn't anything that was, over elaborate or extravagant or anything like that. It was just four guys. They say, "Hey, man, we are the Hurt Business. We first and foremost, the optimal word is business. Okay, we're our business. I'm the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You the CFO. All right." You taking care of such and such, and you head of security. It had its purpose, and it felt like. And then the suits, everybody's dressing well, everybody looked good, everybody's haircut. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking real professional. It felt like a real business, and I think that's what people took away from the Hurt Business more than anything. It felt good.
And a lot of times because he mentioned it was an all minority faction, which is always cool to see representation on television. But I think every time, like remember when the New Day got together, they were like, "Oh, this is the new nation." You remember that? And then when Hurt Business, "Oh, this is the new nation," but Hurt Business, it wasn't even sure. Were they four black guys together kicking ass on television? Sure, yeah, absolutely. But it had nothing to do, like, that's not like that was their purpose, right? Like, this is the black group, in my opinion, at least. This is the Hurt Business.
I don't know if you remember or not, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But for a minute there, wasn't the New Nation name thrown around for a second?
I think that's what Twitter does every time they put three or more black guys together as a group. They want to say it's the new nation, but the Nation of Domination had a specific purpose and time, right?
Didn't they bring Ron Simmons back to christen the Hurt Business?
You might be right about that. I think they did do that. I think
am I correct here? Am I wrong?
And I think Mark Henry. Didn't Mark Henry do something with him too?
Mark Henry did as well.
Yeah, but the Hurt Business is completely different from what the Nation was.
I understand that.
The Hurt Business is like, we're about money, checks, championships, kicking ass.
And you know what? They should have whooped Mark Henry's ass.
They should have.
And Ron Simmons.
Make them say "damn" all the way to the local medical facility.
No, I'm just saying. It was great that the Hurt Business totally did what I always think about is what the young people are thinking about, what the young people are watching, and what they want to see first and foremost, which is young people doing things and they want to come up and not rehashing the past. I love, like we were talking about just last week, the black with the gold drip shirts that they wore. It made these guys, even when they were dressed casual, they still was in uniform. It made them feel a certain way when they walked out the curtain. And you seen the backdrop. You felt like, man, these dudes, man, they got their stuff. And the reason I say that is because my brother and I, we came out as a tag team. Our first, money outfits, they were $800. Nobody else had outfits like us. We came out looking better than everybody because, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you go out there and everybody around you, it's almost like a, electricity. You could cut it with it. It's thick, and the cloud is thick. You can cut it with the knife. That's how you feel when everything is right. When you go out there, and that's what the Hurt Business brought. Win or lose, and the guys did it. I don't think it bothered me, when I had to take the L or anything like that, because I don't think it was about that at the end of the day. And then what was special about it, Bobby did cash in and become the world champion. The story just was, it's a perfect story. It's a perfect story. I can't see rewriting Rocky.
Right. They nailed it the first time.
And the second time and the third time. I can't think about and the fourth time. I can't think about rewriting any of those shows, because
you were smart to stop at the fourth. You were smart to stop at the fourth time, because that fifth time nobody was talking about Tommy Gunn and all that.
Rocky V was good, man. Tommy good.
Rocky V was not good, book, and I love Rocky. Rocky V was not good.
Man, Rocky
It was
Five
not-
was good. Tommy boy, we got to get what did he say? We got to get some hustle behind this
On
muscle.
this muscle. Yeah.
We got to get Bad Boy back in that ring. You got to do what you got to do. You got to dog him. Yeah, man. Man, George Mr. Duke, man, that was one of the best roles ever played, in a Rocky movie, man. I'm trying to tell you, man.
You know what is funny is I didn't realize that. I always say let's put some hustle behind the muscle, and I had no idea that it's from Rocky 5. That's funny. So you just said that.
Let's get some muscle behind
this muscle. They're doing a Rocky prequel series. Did you hear about this?
Nah.
They're doing a prequel television show that takes place before Rocky 1.
Man, that's crazy, dog. Stallone?
Well, I don't know if he could pull that one off.
I'm talking about
he's involved. Yeah, he's involved.
Yeah.
He's involved. And then what's his name? Michael B. Jordan's going to direct Creed 3. Those came out in the last couple of months.
They're about to mess this whole thing up, man. You know what I mean? With the CGI, everything, you can't, come on. I think we've gotten as much out of it as we possibly can from a perspective. And the reason I say that is because we got to take a break, guys. We got to take a break. Stick around, and I pick that thought up in a minute.
It's been a while since I've been in the ring. A while since I've tested myself in combat. But life is a test, and the only luck is preparation. Question is, am I prepared? Well, I can't answer that question until the time comes. But I remember when I first got in this business, it was like deja vu. It was like a place that I had been before. It was like second nature, something that I was just meant to do.
Yo, Rex, I don't know what's going on with you, man. I've done nothing but try to help you.
I want the 5-time champ. I want the guy you used to be. If you want to see this championship back in this ring, Booker T, try and come take it from me. Step up, Booker. You got no options left. I want the guy you used to be.
Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. You don't mess up, man. Don't mess up, man. Somebody can get hurt. No, man. What I was just talking about a second ago, as far as, trying to recreate stuff, man. And trying to, take something a little too far. And I don't mind if it's good, but I got a chance to watch King Kong versus Godzilla. You seen that yet?
I saw it.
How'd you like it, man?
Okay, I really liked it. I liked it not for the human parts so much, because I don't think the story made a lot of sense, but the fights were great. The fights were fun.
The fights were good. That was about it. That's what I was just finna say. Everything now is turned into the CGI, and they've gotten away from trying to make the story, anything remotely that you could feel like, man, this could actually possibly happen. Just like the scene when Godzilla, run up on King Kong when they're out in the ocean, flip the ship over, whatnot. Good stuff, good action. CGI was, off the top, but some of it was just so stupid. It just was just so comically stupid to the point to where you go, what the hell's going on? What is really going on here? And, I don't know. I don't want to mess it up for the people out there who haven't watched it or anything like that. It's, at least as much as I already have. But no, I'm serious, but it's stuff like that. And to think about doing a prequel for Rocky, okay, it might make some money. Michael B. Jordan picking up the director's hat and doing, the next, Creed. Big ups. But man, that could just turn out to be a disaster. It really could. And I don't know. Movies have definitely gone a different direction for me. And it's hard for me to actually watch them.
Well, I will say this about King Kong and Godzilla, which I don't think that this is going to spoil anything for anybody. If you're looking to go to a movie to hear watch something that has a coherent plot, great character development, keeps you on the edge of your seat because it's this mystery land of wonder, this isn't the movie for you. But if you want to go see two big computer-generated super animals slay the smackdown, this movie was great. The movie was great.
That's what they should have built it up as. They should have built it up as, like they did at the beginning of the movie. It was actually the way the graphics were, it was like a boxing match.
Yeah.
Yeah. You noticed that. Then they showed all the victories that Kong had.
Defeated.
Exactly. So it was like, that was comical, but I could buy it. Okay, it was good. You know what I mean? Now you got the ultimate test in Godzilla, so I'm buying that. And then they throw the extra layer in it, which made no sense. What this come from? So for me, it definitely. Charmel and I, we watched it. We had some snug time last night. We said, let's watch Godzilla. And I'd be damned if a quarter way through she's asleep. Dead asleep, because it wasn't something that could keep your attention. So now I'm going to take your advice, and watch Coming to America and see if that, hold the attention later on this evening. Hopefully, the computer generated parts is not going to throw me out too much in that as well. Yeah.
There are some. I think there's a couple of CG parts in Coming to America, but it's a comedy, so there's not as much. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you about sometimes you can over CG it, or you can go to the well one too many times with some of these movies. I'm trying to think of like one that they did recently that was just like, wow, oh, they did a Men in Black. Ben-Hur. Well, Ben-Hur they did, which was just
Ben-Hur was the worst.
You shouldn't do that. That's like making The Godfather again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why would you do that?
Well, but you can't do the Ten Commandments ever again. You can't do a movie like that these days and make it feel like God is actually really there. You can't do it, But back then, man, I don't know how many thousands of people they used for that movie, but you knew they were real people. You knew it felt like they were walking through the desert. You thought their feet were really bleeding. You thought, Moses actually split the Red Sea. It was great. You can't do that kind of stuff anymore. And when I see it, it just totally I'm like, come on, man, come on. Come on, give me something better than that. So King Kong Godzilla, it definitely was a letdown for me as far as my movie watching goes. Definitely a huge letdown.
Wait, so you watched it at home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I watched it in the theater, and that might have made a difference. Watching
No.
in the theater made a difference. Seeing it
No.
on the big screen,
No, like I
big
say,
screen, big monsters.
I feel the same way you do as far as the graphic as far as CGI, as far as the fight scenes go.
Fights. Yeah.
You know, just like when he ripped the tree up and just ripped it and made it like a toothpick and yeah, exactly. That was cool. You know what I mean? How they captured him, they got past that part. They skipped over that.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden he's just flying. Oh no, he's just on the boat, right?
Yeah. Not just that, but how did they get him in that computer generated room?
Oh, right.
So it's just a lot of stuff was just skimmed over, and they just wanted to make some money off this, and that's the biggest problem with movie making these days. It's all about the revenue. It's all about how much they put into it. Of course, we're giving you guys a whole lot here. You should be happy. You know what I mean? You get some of this is groundbreaking CGI. You should love it. But at the end of the day, they're looking to see how much money that they're going to make out of that movie. And that's the sad part about movies these days, because I used to feel like movies had a purpose. We had a purpose to want to actually go to the theater. It was a reason to, want to go to the theater. I never ever watched a movie at home. Never. That's the first time. So it's definitely gotten to a point to where, movies aren't that important anymore. Movie theaters is going to be a thing of the past.
Oh, I hope not. But you might be right, but I just hope not. I hope
no,
not.
I mean,
I love
because
the theater experience.
And the reason I think it is because of the movies that are being, it's almost like a wrestling match and Monday night, show, a house show. But when you watch the pay-per-view, man, you're supposed to be getting something that you don't see on the house show. You're supposed to be getting something you don't see on, Monday night and Tuesday night, Thursday night, whatever it is. I'm paying money for this. It's almost like a lot of UFC shows these days. It seems like you're just paying money for nothing. But we got some super chats, man. Let's take care of it, man. We got to pay some bills. Got to get a couple of new microphones.
So Daryl just said, "Oh, hail King Booker."
That is right there, King Booker. The most. It's like, I love when I told Batista, I said, "You know you can't beat me. You know."
Oh man! Our next
super
super chat from Stellar Justin Lopez. Coming to America should have been called Coming to Zamunda. It felt like I was watching an episode of Blackish. Should have left it alone. That's his review. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying I agree with it.
No, see, because you
I'm saying I disagree with it.
You're looking at it from a young white man's side that didn't really understand the first one. Okay?
Look. No. let me be clear. Let me be clear on something. Look, I'm a big Zamunda fan, right? I like Zamunda a little bit more than all the other countries. But coming to America too, I will say not my favorite. I like the original more, but that's typically the case, right? The original is always better.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad I'm glad he gave me that review, because I felt like it was going to be the same thing. And when it's just like Bad Boys for Life.
That one wasn't bad.
Man, that was the worst.
That one wasn't bad.
The last one.
That's the one where
Martin Lawrence looked like he was somebody's grandfather.
Martin Lawrence looked a little old. Will Smith looked good.
It was the worst one of all. Me and Charmel
watched that movie.
Me and Charmel watched that movie, and we could not crack a smile. We could not break one time throughout that whole movie. It was one of the worst movies that I've seen, as of late.
Do you remember
to be remade? It was that bad. It really was.
Do you remember the other Will Smith movie that came out a couple years ago where he's like fighting his younger self? Right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, we talked about this. At the end of the movie, he like adopts himself and essentially
the kids go to college.
Yeah. Wasn't Bad Boys for Life like the same plot? Because the guy he's fighting the whole time ends up being his son.
Exactly.
And at the end, he like adopts his son and their father's son again.
It was stupid, man. It was stupid. You know what I mean? So I'm not a big fan of, trying to recreate, You know, like I say, CGI, man, it's definitely messing movies up. It's definitely not giving me a feel to where I want to really, watch a movie these days. I don't know. Like I said, people can say, man, you're just getting old. You're just getting old. You know what I mean? Movies are the same. And that's what a lot of these young cats are saying. But I'm going to tell you, man, you go see this documentary that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Theaters right here in Houston. Check your local listing. That's a movie. And it's called Booker T. Live, A&E. Guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the movie Trivia Showdown. Yeah, good evening here tonight. Who's ready for some matches, huh? Let's Showdown. Questions are going to be asked to the field. They are each worth 1 point. Who plays Laura in the 2017 film Logan?
Daphne Keene.
Daphne Keene. Round number 2, each competitor is going to get a spin at the wheel. Final round 3 begins.
Niet. No.
Sam Witwer has been eliminated. Celebrity Showdown, free-for-all style.
Let me see.
Team Classic! This is why we play the Showdown. Rising Sun! And your winner!
MMA or boxing, it's like you want to see the two best scrapping it out.
The Schmodown, as we know, we got a little bit of a WWE flavor to it.
And I'm going to give him a show in Chicago.
Get your tickets. We are coming with the fire. Movie Trivia Schmodown!
Shub! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Man, this show went by like crazy, man.
Breezing by.
It's nuts. I know Christian made his in-ring debut in AEW, but, it's one name, man, I want to talk about. If we got enough time, we'll talk about Christian. But the one name I'm really, really surprised that have not made a return to the ring, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, it's CM Punk, man. CM Punk, it seemed like he's, I don't know, buying his time. It seemed like he's, just waiting to the right time. I know CM Punk, 42 years old now. I mean, he's not the youngest guy in the world, but when you see a guy like Christian who still look good, who can still go out there and go, you say 42 is not that old. CM Punk, you still may have something left in the tank. I was reading the cat Will Ospreay called him out to a match, and I don't know if CM Punk have responded or anything, but are you surprised that CM Punk have not made his debut somewhere, whether it be New Japan, which I'm sure they would take a chance on him, AEW. I wouldn't expect for him to go to Impact Wrestling or anything like that. WWE. Are you surprised?
Yes, I am. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him yet. Although I thought that we would see him, 2 months after he walked away initially, right? I thought, he's going to come back before WrestleMania, and this is all going to be in the past. CM Punk has stuck to his guns now for 7 years. We haven't seen him inside of a squared circle, which is insane that it's been that long. But I think I would have thought by now we would have seen him. And I just think that he's waiting for the check to be big enough, right? Because if you leave something like that, and if you listen to the comments that he's made since, whether you find them to be justified or not, doesn't seem like his heart is in wrestling as much anymore. Like, that doesn't drive him. So if you're going to do something that you don't really want to do, well, most people call that a job. And if you're going to go do a job, you want to get paid for it. And I think CM Punk's like, hey, man, when the money's right and I need it, sure, I'm going to go back, and I could see him wrestling for AEW. Tony Khan seems to have a nice little checkbook over there that has a bottomless pit to bring in all the talent that he's brought in lately. We know Vince has long green ducats. He's got those several $1 billion from several different deals. It's going to happen. I will say this. Didn't you think it would happen after he came back on Backstage?
Yeah, I thought that was the buildup. I thought it was just
Me
a
too.
prelude to what was going to happen. I thought CM Punk would be back in the ring within inside of a year. I thought the backstage thing was just a springboard back into the business, which I thought it was a pretty cool springboard back into the business. But the majority of the CM Punk fans, they want to see Punk back in the ring. They want to see Punk back, straight edge superstar doing his thing, cutting promos again, pipe bomb moments. And there again, too, I can tell you, it's really, really hard to recreate that magic. Once you have lost it, to go back and, bang, start that thing up all over again. You got to have a whole lot, going for you in order for something like that to actually happen. All the stars got to be aligned right for you to come back in and boom, pick up right where you left off.
It's true. It's true. But you know what? You can do it. And you can do it at 42. Hell, Sting did it at 62. He came back, did another run. Punk's got 20 years to wait now. You know what I mean? He's got time on his side. And the thing is, this last 2020, it felt like, okay, before the pandemic, there was some steam behind Punk. Punk was doing a lot of interviews talking about, well, if the bag is big enough, if they give me the right amount of money, sure, I'd come back. He was watching WWE on a weekly basis to talk about WWE backstage. And then the pandemic hits, there's no crowd. Now, Punk, if you're going to come back, and Booker, you would say the same thing. You want to come back, and you want there to be people there. You don't want to come back to a wall of screens.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah,
so
sure.
if there were times,
again, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't give a damn if it's screens or nobody in the arena. If it's a check, a bag,
not a check, not a check, a bag.
I don't care. The ratings are up. I don't care if it's anybody in the arena. Come on, man. I'm not going to be thinking like that. I'm going to be thinking about the check. More important than anything. And I'm really surprised that we haven't seen CM Punk back, inside a ring, because I really thought AEW was perfectly fitting for someone like CM Punk, opening up, being fresh out the box, being able to have creative liberty to, go out and have, whatever kind of. I think they just had what kind of match they just had last week? They had just some kind of crazy match they just had last week. But you could do anything you want to do. You know what I mean? Write your own ticket. I thought that would be a perfect setting for CM Punk. But let's take that super chat.
Yeah, let me go to super chat. This is from Bisley TV. Do you think the reason is he kind of don't want to perform because he's scared to get rejected if he doesn't perform like the old CM Punk?
I remember somebody saying something like that.
Yeah,
who's that guy? Who's that saying that? Me.
He probably, he's probably irrelevant. Probably don't know.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was saying that, when I was in, high school, when I was, 16, 17, 18 years old, that was bad, man. I could dance, man. I was real good. At least I thought I was. And then girls came around. And I started thinking about girls a whole lot more than I started thinking about my dance and practicing and all of that stuff. And then I'm 20, 21, 22 years old. And those kids that were coming up, 16, 17, 18 years old, I'm watching them and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, have things changed that much? And things had changed that much. These kids were much better than I was at that time. So I was like, man, I would act like I could still do it, but I would never actually throw down with them. I was like, man, you know who I am, man. You don't want none of this, man. So I would bluff. You know what I mean? And CM Punk right now, I'm not saying that could happen, but coming back, getting in that ring, and not performing at a certain level in front of today's audience, this internet world that we live in right now, it could be a meme. It could be something that people will be talking about for the rest of their lives if things don't go right in that match. So definitely, I agree with, I wouldn't say I agree with the sentiment, but I do agree with the sentiment at the same time.
Hey, speaking of that, though, we talked about Sting. What do you think about him saying that he was in shambles after that cinematic match? I mean, is that a bad sign? He said the cinematic match was fun. I'd like to do more of those for sure, but I came out of it in shambles. It took its toll on me. It was 2 nights of filming. That was pretty tough. It can be taxing on the body, especially at my age.
Look,
You
man,
think that was a warning sign to Sting?
that is that last quote right there. That last part of that quote was at my age. I'm gonna tell you right now, at 62 years old, out there trying. Just think about this here. A 60 who's 62 right now? Action star that's 62. That's out there doing that thing right now. Give me one.
Liam Neeson, maybe.
Liam Neeson. Yeah, 62 years old. You think he do his own stunts?
I don't think so. I think he tags in and tags out of that one.
Exactly my point. You know, when Sting's out there trying to do his own stunts at 62 years old, I don't care, you know, what you're thinking about doing at 62 years old. If you got to stand up, just say, for instance, it took not taking one bump. And all you got to do is, okay, for the next 2 hours, you're sitting on the sofa and you just got to stand up. All right, we're going to do this here for the next two hours. I don't know how many times we have to do this shot, but you have to just stand up. At the end of that 2 hours, Sting will need an ice bath. Okay. I'm serious. I'm not lying, man, because things are a whole lot different when you're 62. I mean, God bless him. On DMX, heart attack, overdose. Prayers up. And I always say, man, dude's 50 years old. You cannot do the same, you know, recreational drugs at 50 that you could do at 25. You just can't do it. You know what I mean? You can't think, you can't roll like that. You got to calm it down and kick it all the way back. Your body is not going to take it. And I can understand what Sting, you know, felt after, you know, just, you know, rehearsal, going through it, taking a few bumps here and there. The old hips is not the same. My dog fell yesterday, and you know, she's been around for the last 13 years here, and man, she got up limping. You know, and I mean, it's something that she would do over and over when she was younger. So, man, guys, don't think you can buck Father Time. You can't do it. You can't do it. So don't even try, man. We didn't even get, you know, part of the show here today that we really want to talk about. But I tell you, it still was good. It was still good. I want to thank all the super chatters, man. Appreciate you guys. But we saving up all of that money we get from the super chats. We're going to do something special as far as with reality of wrestling with actually Hall of Fame, new microphones, something. And we definitely going to give you guys the props for making it. We're going to make sure y'all see it. It's going to be shiny. But Bradley, again, man, we'll see you on Wednesday. All you guys, we'll see you on Wednesday. But right now, we up out of here.
Can you dig it?